Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be going over emotions. So this is a pretty self-explanatory video. I just wanted to cover it just in case there were some misconceptions. Okay, so the first thing is that there are six types of emotions, which is sadness, anger, fear, disgust, and joy and surprise, right? So how I like to think about it is that these are all such unique emotions, right? Like sadness, you're sad. Anger, you're mad. You're so upset and you're so angry. That's such a distinctive emotion. Fear. You wouldn't think of fear as an emotion. You think of it more as an experience, right? So I'd like to think of it as okay, fear is an emotion. Disgust. Actually, that's the most easiest one to remember in my opinion because I never associated disgust as an emotion. But and then joy and surprise. I like to think of it as the inside out characters. You know, half of these are like sadness, anger, disgust, and joy. The only new ones are fear and surprise, right? So just you need to take a look at that. They won't ever ask you to list out all the emotions separately, but it's a good thing to know. Um, so there are three main regions associated with emotions. The first one is your amygdala, which is the area where you go through your flight or fight response, and it basically is processing your surroundings and producing a reaction to it. So this is most heavily involved in something called classical conditioning, which is a learning style in which students associate a stimulus with either a reward or a punishment. So what that means is that, okay, I as a kid, I used to eat a lot of candy, right? I was really obsessed with candy. So for me, when I took my first bite of candy, that was a learning experience for me, right? We don't associate that with learning experience, but it actually is for our brain. When I ate it, I thought that if I eat the candy, then I am going to experience euphoria and energy. That was a reward for me. But if I didn't eat the candy, then I would be sad and unhappy. So for me, that stimulus of eating it was associated with the reward of happiness and energy. But what my mom did was she came in and she started to realize that my candy eating was kind of going to an unhealthy level. So what she did was she told me that every time I ate candy, if I ate candy more than 3 pieces a day, then I would not get to watch TV for an hour. But if I ate only 3 pieces of candy, then I would get to eat the candy and watch TV. So I associated eating 3 pieces of candy every day, on only 3 pieces of candy every day, as a good thing. That was my reward. But if I didn't do it, I'd associate it with the punishment. So that's called classical conditioning, right? So then there's also the part known as your insula, which is basically responsible for linking emotions to stimuli. So, for example, when you see white roses, from all the TV shows I've watched and all of that, I've always associated white with peace and calm and quiet, right? So anything white gives me peace. Linking that emotion of peace to the color is the function of the insula. And actually, insula is very strongly associated with feelings of disgust, right? So, like, if you look at a worm, me personally, I don't like worms. So, that feeling of ick that you get is closely associated with the insula. The insula also has a lot of implications in like impulse control, and it's very broadly connected to everything, right? But the main function is disgust and linking emotions. It's also been associated with pain, but we'll see. We're still exploring that. Okay, and then finally, there's your periaqueductal gray. So your periaqueductal gray is actually a region in your brainstem which surrounds your central canal. So let me draw a cross section for you. Actually, the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is one of my favorite parts of the brain, right? The periaqueductal gray. So say when you take a cross section of your brainstem, since it's an extension of your spinal cord, you have what's known as your central canal, which is basically an area that's filled with sorry guys, which is filled with cerebrospinal fluid (CSF), which is basically like the lubricant for the brain. It keeps it wet, moist, so on and so forth. around this part is kind of a really cool structure. Oh, there's no gray, whatever. Okay, this structure, a little area surrounding it, known as your periaqueductal gray. So what the function of this part is to basically control the level of pain, right? So the reason why I find this super interesting is because I love pain management. Chronic pain is one of my favorite areas of research that's going on right now. Like, actually, a very interesting piece of research that's going on is stimulating the periaqueductal gray, stimulating it to increase one's pain tolerance, increase pain tolerance. Tolerance. So basically, what you're trying to do is you're gonna increase the pain threshold to the point where that constant pain doesn't feel like pain anymore. It just feels normal to you, right? So your periaqueductal gray plays a major role in your pain management. That's why people in the army, what they've done is they've stimulated this area and they've increased the threshold for them to feel pain in the first place. Obviously, this comes with a lot of ethical and moral concerns because what if you actually have a very pressing condition but you can't feel pain and that situation gets so bad that you're gonna die. For example, there was a Grey's Anatomy episode where a woman couldn't feel pain. Obviously not because of this stimulation technique, but she just had a condition where she couldn't feel pain, right? And what happened was she got so sick because she couldn't feel the pain to the point where her appendix burst. And so she didn't even know it was going on because she couldn't feel the pain. So that's an ethical implication that's going on with this study right now. And yeah, that's the main presentation on emotions. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please email me at stemwme@gmail.com or leave a comment. Thank you so much. Bye.